This is the BLACK+DECKER 3.0 cubic foot portable washer. I've had this for a bit now, and a few people asked me about it, so here's my take. I'm going to talk like I normally would if a friend texted me asking, is this portable washer actually worth dealing with? So the big thing with this one is the size. It says 3.0 cubic feet and a 26.5 pound capacity. And it really is way bigger than the little portable washers I've seen in the past. Those smaller ones always felt like you're doing laundry in tiny batches forever. With this, I can do a normal amount of clothes in one go. For me, that's stuff like a couple days of shirts, underwear, workout clothes, and a few towels without feeling like I'm cramming it. I've also washed bedding in it, not every huge comforter, but sheets and a decent blanket have been fine, as long as I'm not being unrealistic and stuffing it to the top. Mine is sitting basically like a regular top-load washer would, and just from living with it, I'd tell people to think of it as portable, mainly because you can hook it to a sink, and you can move it if you need to, not because you want to carry it around all the time. It weighs about 99 pounds, and yeah, you feel that. It has rollers and side handles, so I can tilt it back and roll it, but only on smooth floors. On carpet or over a doorway lip, it's annoying. I can move it, but I wouldn't want to do that every day. I ended up keeping it in one spot most of the time, and only shifting it a little when I need to. Setup was pretty straightforward. It comes with the quick connect sink adapter and the drain hose, which is basically the whole reason I looked at this style of washer in the first place. I'm in a place where I didn't want to mess with installing a full-size machine, so hooking it to a faucet was the plan. The first time took me a few minutes because I had to figure out which faucet it liked. If your faucet has some weird shape or a fancy pull-down sprayer head, you might have to troubleshoot a bit. Once I had it working, connecting it is easy. I just make sure it's snug, turn on the water, and start the cycle. One thing I learned fast is that the drain hose pushes water out pretty hard. The first time I ran it, I had the hose sitting in the sink and it kind of thrashed around from the pressure and splashed a bit. Now I always secure it. Sometimes I wedge it or tie it so it can't jump. If you're planning to drain into a bathtub, that's even easier, but still secure it. That's one of those little real-life things nobody thinks about until there's water on the floor. Using it day to day has been simple. It has 6 cycles: normal, heavy, delicate, quick, bulky, and spin only. I mostly live on normal for everyday clothes. Quick is nice when I just want to wash a small load fast, like a couple shirts after a workout. Heavy is what I use for towels or anything that feels gross or extra dirty. Spin only is honestly underrated because the spin is strong enough that my clothes come out pretty damp, not dripping. That matters if you're air drying in an apartment. I notice my drying time is way shorter compared to some smaller portable washers I've tried before that barely spin anything out. The washer uses an impeller instead of the tall agitator post in the middle. In real terms, it means the tub feels more open and I don't have clothes wrapping around a center pole. I wash delicates in here and it's been fine. I'm still using laundry bags for a couple things because that's just how I am, but I haven't had the stretching and tangling problems I used to get with older agitator machines. The lid is transparent, which I didn't care about at first, but I ended up liking it because I can check if I threw something in that shouldn't be in there, or see if the water level looks right. It's also a soft close lid, so it doesn't slam. The controls are simple, with an LED display. Nothing fancy. I can read it easily, and it tells me what it's doing without me having to guess. Noise-wise, it's not silent, but it's not ridiculous. The wash part is pretty normal. The spin is where it can get loud, and it really depends on whether the load is balanced. If I toss in one heavy thing on one side, it'll complain. It has auto unbalance detection, which sounds technical, but what it means in real life is it'll pause, try to fix the balance, and sometimes it'll stop and make you redistribute the clothes. That's not fun, but I'd rather deal with that than have it walk across the floor. A couple of things I noticed over time. The included hoses are not super long. For my setup it's okay, but if your sink is far from where you want the washer, you might be stuck. I also don't love the warm situation when you're using a sink hookup. In my experience, unless you're really controlling your faucet and making sure you're sending actual warm water, it often ends up feeling like a mostly cold wash. If warm or hot washing is important to you, you'll probably care about that more than I do. I mostly wash in cold anyway, so it hasn't been a deal breaker for me. Another very real thing. When it arrived, I had bits of packing foam that ended up inside the tub. Not a huge crisis, but I had to wipe it out before I did my first load because I didn't want little white bits sticking to clothes. Just something to check before you run it for the first time. Compared to other portable washers I've owned or used, this one falls closer to a regular washer in terms of how much you can actually get done. The tiny countertop style ones are fine for emergencies, but I always felt like I was doing laundry constantly. With this, I can do fewer loads, which makes me more likely to keep up with laundry instead of letting it pile up. If you're worried about power, it runs on a normal 120-volt outlet. I plugged mine into a dedicated wall outlet, and I don't use an extension cord. I'm not trying to be dramatic about it. I just don't want to risk overheating a cheap power strip with an appliance like this. Who do I think it's actually good for? If you're in an apartment, a rental, a small place, maybe an RV situation, or anywhere you don't have laundry hookups, this makes sense if you're okay with the sink connection routine. If you're someone who thinks you'll roll it out of a closet and hook it up every single time, just be honest with yourself about the weight. You can do it, but you might get tired of it. If you can leave it parked near a sink or in a bathroom and just connect it when needed, that's the easiest way to live with it. So overall, I've been happy with it. It washes well, the capacity is actually useful, the spin cycle helps a lot with drying, and it's been a practical way for me to avoid hauling laundry somewhere else. The downsides for me are the weight, the hose length limits, and the fact that you really have to secure that drain hose or it'll make a mess. If you're thinking about getting one and you've got questions about your specific setup, like your sink type or where you drain it, drop a comment and I'll tell you what I do. If this video helped, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with any questions. Thank you for watching.